let's take a look at what the first episode might have. Okay? What we are going to see is all these people getting out of limousines, meeting Sean for the first time. So we're going to see 26 new bachelorettes. We're going to see them dressed, in probably very nice outfits, but making their entrances. So we're going to be able to see, well, who are some of the extroverts and who are some of the introverts, both in their initial meeting of Sean as well as how they interact within that first cocktail party. We're going to see who likes to be the center of attention, who, craves the spotlight, who is attracted to the spotlight. We're going to be able to see, what's that first impression they make on Sean? Who wants to be physical? Who doesn't want to be physical? Who's a little bit more forward? Who's going to try a pretty novel approach? We've seen people come in on a horse. As I said in one of the previews I saw, somebody's going to come in a wedding gown. We saw, I think, in one of the past episodes, somebody come in on a helicopter. So who's going to do that outlandish thing that really separates them apart? And is that a good tack or a bad tack? We're also going to get a chance to see, well, who's really dramatic? Who are the drama queens in this? Who are the ones that are, really out there and put themselves out there in a, what some might see as an odd way, or some might see as a really endearing kind of way. There's a lot of pressure at this first meeting. That first impression, there's so much packed into that we think. And some people, first impressions are important. Some people, first impressions aren't. It's what you do with that first impression that's important. So we're going to see a lot of pressure. People meeting Sean for the first time. People being on television probably for the first time. They're competing for Sean with 25 other women. And there's this pressurized situation of this cocktail party, and they're going to get cut. We don't know how many of them are going to get cut that first episode, but some of them are going to get cut. So there's a lot of pressure being packed into this situation. So we're going to see who can deal with this pressure. One of the other difficult things in this cocktail party is there's alcohol. So when you mix pressure and alcohol, that's often a recipe for disaster. We've seen some pretty hilarious things happen in this first episode when you mix all these different contestants, people competing against each other, extroverts, introverts, people trying to make an impression, people trying to one-up each other, casing out their competition. Mix a little alcohol with it, and some pretty odd, bizarre things happen that often are sort of the death sentence for their ability to continue on and be really a top pick of the Bachelor, or Sean in this case. So we hope that you have happy viewing, that you enjoy the first episode, that you look out for some of the things that we've talked about, and that you watch this year of The Bachelor with a little different lenses than you've watched in different years. Really trying to watch, some of these relationship aspects, who's making good plays, who's making poor plays, who's having a good strategy, who's making good decisions, who's handling the pressure, and who's shining, during the course of this season of The Bachelor. So look forward to talking to you next week after this first episode of The Bachelor on ABC. Bye now.